Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you another video. So I talked to the folks at the front office and let them know a heads up of what it is my situation would be in regards to trying to stay for another week. And it's the same deal, leave for a day, I come back the next day early in the morning, make sure I call before I do to make sure they have a room, and it shouldn't be a problem to get me started for another room, so long as I check out by the checkout time, which will be tomorrow at noon. So I should be cool, as long as they have a room available on Saturday morning. And I guess for myself right now, I'm just getting out of the hotel, just taking me a little walk after eating. Getting denied for GR was a little bit of a headache, but you know, my faith is so dang strong right now. It's not even the same game plan as far as how I was feeling last time when this happened. I guess because I have a bit more information on how that works. You know, at the end of the day, I have a much more understanding of what their policy is, what the game plan is, how much it's going to cost. So information always makes a mind like mine handle these circumstances so much better. That's what I was telling my uncle. Like, you know, it's an underrated thing to be informed about circumstances. When you don't know what your options are, it can really create a lot of problems for a person with anxiety. But when you know what the game plan is and you know what's possible versus what is not, you can put yourself in a position to at least be able to ease your mind. So that's what I have right now, is a mind that's somewhat eased. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm doing great, because that GR situation is trash. Not being able to get my GR because I'm an ape is a very, very deflating thing. But you know, it's one of those situations where I know for a fact the Lord wants me to just keep the faith in the situation. I was praying throughout my entire lunch. You know, as I tell you guys, we apply prayer like we would apply a shower, but more so like we brush our teeth, but more so, especially when you go through difficult times. So y'all know how I am. I turn into a preacher when I'm struggling, but I think I'm all right, man. I just understand that because of what I've been through, I'm a much stronger person than I was 3 weeks ago, than I was 6 weeks ago. You know, a lot of the stuff that I wanted to quit about, it ain't like that this week. It just ain't. The circumstances appear to be worse because I'm not getting GR, but it's like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I prayed about GR, the Lord said I'm still getting that. Now, I don't know if I believe that or if I'm just telling myself that, but everything in my prayer confirmation was essentially saying that's not going to go the way it looked like it's going to go. He's probably going to make sure I have what I need financially. If it isn't GR, then I'm going to get something else that'll work this out somehow. And I told him, I was like, you know, immobilize within me what I need to do to relieve my family of what it is that they've been asked to do. That's where I haven't been a great guide. Because at the end of the day, whether you got these mental health issues or not, you're waiting on GR or not, you want to put yourself in a position to not have your family constantly worrying about you and constantly having to reach in their pocket to make sure you're all right. And I'm telling you, man, I really want that for myself and for them. I really want that. And I'm, for whatever reason, the part of me that can win that battle is still very much feeling the opposite, as if I cannot, or as if this is what the Lord wants me to do. And that's kind of what I was telling my uncle. Like, though it doesn't seem like a positive thing to say, I genuinely pray about this type of stuff all the time, and the Lord just tells me to sit and relax. No different than he did this morning. You know, after I got off the phone with those people about GR, you know, I went into a space where I wanted to do the video I did, and then I shaved my head, as you can see. Did all of that. After I ate, showered and all of that, you know, the Lord was kind of compelling me to get back in bed and just pray. And that's what I did. And I was like, Lord, you know, this doesn't feel right. It never does when you ask me to do this. It's not the first time in this hotel he's asked me to do this. I remember that one day, I think it was the third week or the second week, might have been the third week. It was a whole Tuesday where he didn't want me to move as far as getting out of the room. It was almost as if I would have left the house, I was disobedient. Some type of energy that really was compelling me strong. And I tell you, that's kind of how I felt this morning, but not all day long, you know. It was just like, look, just until lunchtime, you know, because what came to me was, your brain has been taking on a lot, and you have to stay on timing. Those are the two things that came to mind while I was sitting there praying. Your brain is taking on a lot because you're looking at images on your phone of what's going on in Gaza. And that's not good for me. That's essentially what the Spirit was kind of helping me understand. It's like, it's necessary that I know what's going on in the situation over there and in Israel, and that I be informed. But some of those images are so damn desensitizing that it's abnormal for us to be seeing stuff like that. And I've been taking on a lot of it, watching just about everything that's been posted on my Instagram, which is just stuff you would never have seen, stuff you would never have seen when I was a child. It's things that a child can see in their phone right now, and it's a bad thing, man. It's a bad thing. It's good that we are informed. It's good that we are not hiding from what's going on there. But at the same time, the Holy Spirit was telling me, like, that's why I want you to lay down, because you've been really looking at a lot of that stuff. And I've never, and this is what the Lord was telling me, I've never asked you to do anything that didn't align you with the timing that I intend for you. That was what the meditation was. If I ask you to move at a certain time, it's because I want you to be aligned with things that are supposed to happen for the rest of your life. If you get off timing, going against what it is I'm telling you to do, you're going to be involved in some stuff, or maybe have yourself involved in some things that aren't meant for you. And he put something in my heart. I don't know if, what else to say other than just believe it, just like everything else that he puts in my heart that aligns with the timing around me. He said, there's been a time when someone was supposed to do something for you and they didn't do it, and it set you off. It set you back in a real way. That's what he told me. It just came to me while I was sitting there in that meditation. He was like, somebody was supposed to do something. I had it lined up for you, and they just didn't do it. And because they didn't do it, it really did set you back. And it kind of works like that. That's what the Holy Spirit was kind of putting in my heart. It kind of works like that. It's not that the Lord is anticipating things not going in his favor. It's just that because he gives us free will, sometimes the free will of others can really deter the plans that he has in place for whomever it is. And while he can maneuver within those spaces, he really can, and he can create right away what would be best for you. It will then take a little more waiting, or maybe you're going to experience something you probably weren't supposed to experience. And depending on how you handle that, can throw you all the way off timing. That's what was coming to me while I was laying down. Like, as clear as I'm telling you right now, that's exactly how it was coming to me. And so that event that he was referring to was something that really kind of disappointed God on the other end of whoever did that. And he made them pay for that, he said. He said they paid for that. And you need to now know that I work that way. To say, if I want something for you, it may go your way, but if the other person don't align with that, then it may not go your way, even though I want it for you. And he said, so goes the same with relationships. At the end of the day, I may have it all lined up for you and that person. I may have it all lined up for you in that situation. But if the other person doesn't comply, or if the other person wants to be defiant, then it just ain't going to happen. But know that I want this for you, and I'm going to do everything in my power to compel all parties necessary to assure that what I have planned comes to pass. But there's been many a time when the Lord has been disappointed with his people for not aligning with what it is that he wanted them to do. And it did affect things that were supposed to happen. It did not go as planned. And he had to improvise and or just not let things just didn't take place. And so that was more of like a confirmation for me of how the Lord wants me to believe he works. Because a lot of times I would think, well, Lord can move around anything. He can move around anything. But we've talked about this in a way to say, you be disobedient and it can mess things up. But I think this is what happens when you meditate. When he tells you to meditate, he'll give me, I can't say he does this for everyone, I don't know, but he gives me a sort of a peek into whatever it is he wants me to know. And sometimes it'll be extremely specific. And this particular meditation is extremely specific in that way. So that's what he wanted me to feel about things lining up for me in this particular situation. It's like, it can, but it's not like I can promise you that everybody's going to do what they're supposed to do, may do what they're supposed to do. If they're defiant, then you're gonna have to trust me within that space continuously. And so that was what he was telling me in regards to my own self as well, is to say, I'm not asking you to move for one of those same reasons. I'm not asking you to get up and react to your circumstances for one of those same reasons. It's like, look, unless you're on time, it doesn't really matter what it is your intentions are. Your timing has to be right. You got to be on time with what I'm asking you to do. And so that was really important for me to kind of absorb, given the circumstances I'm dealing with. Because I really couldn't figure out why the Lord would want me to sit down and not react. I was like, okay, I need to go down here. I need to be calling this person. I need to be making this move. Earlier today I was thinking, all right, I need to go down to the office and make this conversation happen. My boy T gave me the notion that was probably the right thing to do, to talk to them first before letting tomorrow take place and they have no heads up of what it is that I'm going to ultimately do. That was a mistake I made last time. It ain't no sense in that happening again. And so, but at the same time, it was like the Lord's going to make sure that you talk to the right person. Because the other lady that I had an issue with in regards to this was down there too. She wasn't on clock. It was the nice girl that was on clock, the one that I really have had good interactions with. And she made my mind at ease about asking this question. You see? And those are the type of things that the Lord did for me in regards to when I went. Not just that I went, but when. And because I'm spiritually inclined, it's sort of like a cheat code. You just get that privy. You get privy to what it is he wants you to do and what will be best for you when it's best for you. And so that's why it's like, for those of us who are compelled by the Spirit in the way that we are, it's a cheat code for us in a way, because a lot of people are not spiritually inclined. Maybe you are not. This ain't gonna make no sense to you. It's not gonna add up. You're sitting there trying to figure out something, and it's not gonna be compelled. It's not gonna work. But it's not meant for those who don't have it to really move that way. It's just meant for me to tell you that it works that way for me. And it's hard because there are a lot of people who are searching for God, or they believe in God, but they don't believe in this. And so you try to tell them stuff like that. It's like, well, the scripture says otherwise. It's like, I know the scripture says otherwise, but you don't know what he's compelling me to do. You can't see that he's moving my hands, like literally moving my hands when I'm praying, like I'm some type of Dawson character or something. You can't see that there's a different spiritual frequency for some people. And he needs it to be because of whatever his interests are in regards to moving our lives in a specific way. And I'm one of those people. Been one of those people my whole life, which is kind of what I was talking about in another video that I made in regards to, I can't do what you do. I was saying that on the way home from my last trip out. I was like, I can't do what y'all do. You may say I'm mentally ill in regards to this, but what I really am is spiritually inclined, directly spiritually inclined to whatever the Lord wants me to be. And because of it, because we don't understand that science in this world right now, it ain't gonna feel like nothing saying about what it is that I'm saying to you. It ain't gonna make no sense, but trust when I tell you. Everything in my bones and body tells me when to move if I'm spiritually locked into what the Lord is telling me to do from a meditative standpoint, which is mostly when I'm going through difficulties. And so that's what it is for me, learning how to lean into his understanding of what it is that he wants from me overall, so that I'm not off time. When I made this video last time walking down this street, so much was spewing out of me that was positive. So much was spewing out of me that aligned with what it is that I believe. And the words would come so easy. And it was like, because you were in the Spirit as you were walking. And I want people to go check that video out. I don't remember exactly what I called it, but I named it something. I was on the way to Hollywood. And when I got off the phone with y'all here, I just felt the Lord put it in my heart. He said, you're walking in the Spirit right now. You're not necessarily walking on your own. I'm compelling every step you're taking. And it's like, okay. That energy came to me. It's like, let's go. And then from there, I found myself over in Hollywood, dealing with, all of the stuff that, Cherimoy, going back to the elementary school and all that. That was where he was leading me. The same thing I was telling y'all when I went to Blessed Sacrament. It was like, okay, he's leading me in the Spirit. I don't know what's going down this street, but everything in my bones and body and in the energy that I have is just compelling me, as if it's turning me down that street. And where did I end up being? that Blessed Sacrament, to show all of y'all exactly the steeple I had been talking about, that was so high in the sky that it was no reason for anybody to be sitting up there, that kind of thing. I told y'all that story on a Thursday. He sent me down there on like a Tuesday or whatever it was. That kind of thing is like, he already had certain things lined up, and if I just go along with it, I'm gonna find out what it is on the other side of that. Yeah, I gotta agree to move. Yeah, I gotta not go against the spirit. But when I do, physical things, actual things that are supposed to line up, tend to go in favor the way they're supposed to, because I've been obedient in that spirit. So to rather listen to the world in 2023 who doesn't understand that science at all, tell me that I'm crazy for it, no different than they tell somebody in the 1600s that they're a witch. You know what I mean? They tell me I'm mentally ill for it. I tell you that as I do it, things line up the way they're supposed to. And as I don't, things simply do not. It's the truth. And so for me, it's like, all right, I trust it now. The Lord has been showing me so much in this regard. What I'm gonna do now, after all that he's been showing me, just not trust it? Not anymore. In this era of my life, I don't believe it's an error to follow my spirit, follow Christ, more or less. And so that's what I'm expressing to you. And then that thought came, that meditative understanding that, sometimes things don't work out because people don't follow that spirit. Sometimes people just don't do what it is the Lord tells them to do, even though they know that this is their movement. They know that this is what it is about. They understand what God wants them to do. To some degree, they've already been told and shown what it is that I've been shown in this way, but they still they're just not going to do it for whatever reason. Their doubt overrides their faith. And so that's why I always say, my faith is a better predictor than my doubt. It's not that I'm a psychic or anything. It's just that this is how it works for me. And when I'm on timing, things tend to just happen the right way, so long as I align with how the Spirit's compelling me. And, this is another one of those moments. I'm trusting the Spirit. I'm just walking down the street talking to y'all. Not really sure if I'm going to go all the way down the train or not. Not really sure how far I want to walk. And I was telling the Lord, in my natural mind, I probably want to do laundry right now to make sure that the clothes that I'm bringing with me are clean, or just in case I'm not able to do laundry where I'm headed. The Lord's like, nah, nope. I want you to eat now. It was one of those situations where it's like, when I thought it was time to do laundry, he was telling me, nah, put the rice on, lay back down and continue to meditate. And it was one of those situations where the timing of things went a certain way. I heard a voice say, I was thinking in doubt. In an exact moment, I'm telling you the truth, I was thinking some type of slight doubt. It wasn't nothing serious, but it was like, man, I really need to be doing something other than what I'm doing. Something like that. And I heard a voice in my head, no different than the voice I told y'all that I hear. It sounds like it's far away. It said, check yourself. And then I heard the beep of my rice cooker go off. Now, mind you, I told you that the Lord compelled me to turn on the rice at a certain time. But in the same time that he was telling me not to doubt myself, and I heard that voice say, check myself, that's exactly when the rice cooker ended. So it's like, and then it was like, all right, let me trust the Spirit in all different ways. This is how much food you want. Because I got to make it make sense in regards to my specific situation, since a lot of my food is likely not going to be refrigerated overnight. So I got to make sure that the stuff that's perishable basically has to be gone. So I'm like, Lord, help me measure this out so that it'll align, so that I don't have too many perishables being left out. Take this amount, take this amount, this amount. And by the time I finished my last bite, I was exactly as full as I needed to be. And little stuff like that, man. Very little stuff like that. Exactly as full as I needed to be. Didn't want another bite, didn't want one less. That kind of thing. Just measured me out perfect. And so it's like, if you're gonna believe in the Spirit and follow it in that degree, if you're gonna trust God and align with him to that degree, you follow it all the way through. And see that he aligned with not only what he is that you're supposed to do, but what is best for you and what is best for others as you're compelled to help them. You know what I mean? And I truly believe that meditation on that understanding will help you align with that to some degree. Maybe not for everybody the same way, definitely for me. So that's really what it is in regards to myself. And with all the things that's going on in the world, it's just important to align with that Spirit. And that's what it is. It's like, It's a lot going on, man. It's a lot of misdirection. It's a lot of people that you think you can trust telling you stuff that doesn't align with other things that other people are showing you online in regards to that particular conflict that we've referred to. On one hand, it's these people telling you to only listen to them. On the other hand, it's people telling you only listen to them. And just like I told you guys, man, you got only prayer is going to save us from that. It's too many people that are set to benefit from so many different facets of that circumstance. So many people bound by their political and, more or less business structure to say, I condemn this, or I don't believe that, or they're not going to do it based on trying to keep that Jenga game that they're involved in together. They pull the wrong piece, everything falls apart. They can't afford to let it happen. And because I understand this, I only partially feel angry at what I'm seeing, because I just understand it's a big game of Jenga, and if you don't align with who aligns with you when it's time for you to have help, you won't have it. And that's the problem with a lot of that's going on in our country right now with this particular situation. Everybody sees the footage. We know it's a bad going on. We know it's some people who saying it ain't this, it is that. You know that. But our country's not going to acknowledge that properly because they are too busy aligned with certain political aspects of the conversation. And then there are other people who want to have you only see what's going on over there, so you won't have any faith that anybody's telling the truth over here. And it's just like, yo, I know better. I don't trust any of these people. In regards to what it is that I'm seeing, I don't trust nothing. You know what I mean? But what I do trust is compassion. And so I'm going to tell y'all the same thing I told y'all when I was in this, probably in front of Roma last time. Roma is what it's right next to. There's people being suffered who don't deserve to suffer on both sides. Suffering on both sides. And honestly, that whole situation right there just feels like a lot of misdirection. It feels like a lot of lies being told about who I should be compassionate about. I see people pretending to be people that look like me, that are asking questions that I'm not asking. Like, why didn't they support us? And because they don't support us, we ain't supporting them. Just too much misdirection online. Too many people's interests wrapped up in me feeling a certain way as a black man, or me opposing somebody else because they may be a different. It's too much of that going on when you're looking at this type of footage, man. And I'm telling y'all, it's the same stuff we've been talking about for years on this channel at this point. For years. At the end of the day, you trust the spirit. You trust compassion in your heart. You don't look for a man or a woman to show you compassion. Look at the animals. The animals will tell you what compassion is, man. Not human beings. Human beings are aligned with too many different political things, too many different structural things, too many Jenga games. And they pull one piece, everything falls down. They ain't gonna show you compassion. They're only gonna show you how to keep them keep the Jenga structure intact. And that, my friend, is not something that the Lord really very much appreciates about us. He don't like it. I'm just telling you right now, he don't like that. And just because we're not spiritually inclined to follow his timing and trust that we can move that piece and everything ain't gonna fall down, or that if some reason we move that piece, gravity ain't gonna necessarily do what gravity does because God exists, people are just gonna continue to fall into the wrong places. They're gonna continue to fall into the wrong situations. You know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. They're gonna keep on allowing themselves to do stuff that makes him angry. And so that's what I'm here to tell y'all, man. I know this. I know this from the spirit from which I pray. I know this from a God from which I've served. Watch him do miracles and work timing things out every single day. Every day in this situation, I've been leaning on him and he's been showing me exactly how he wants me to move. And as he does that, that same voice says things like this. I don't like that. I don't want y'all to do this. I see that's how you know how to move, but that's only because you don't believe I exist. I see that's how you want it to be, but that's only because you don't have any faith that I'm actually going to do anything. And it's a lot of people who say they believe in God, but they don't trust him to do anything. They just think that he going to stay in the dark while things go wrong, so they better keep their Jenga game going or everything falls to the part. And it's just not what I'm finding is true, man. That's not true. You just got to wait until the right time. You just got to be compelled the way he wants you to be compelled. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. God ain't gonna do nothing, so it don't matter. He doesn't exist, so that's that. Or even so, I believe in God, but they don't believe in God. And since I don't trust God while believing in God, I'm gonna just keep this Jenga game going because I don't want to disappoint them who are in position of power. It's like, yo, they don't have no real power. They don't have power. They're not even inclined properly enough to trust God when they know they should in situations. A lot of them who you think don't believe in God are lying. They believe in God, they just don't necessarily like him too much. There's a lot of that going on too. And so it's like, people got to be very careful. Some people pretend not to be spiritually inclined so they can continue doing the evil that they know they shouldn't. They feel the Spirit's stronger than I do. They feel God's stronger than I do. But they hate him. They hate him because he don't allow them to do whatever, or did something they allowed, broke their heart back in 20 years ago, and now they just the enemy. It ain't as simple as what it looks like a lot of times, I believe. It ain't what it seems. Something else he told me while I was meditating today. Not everything you're looking at is what it seems. They told you couldn't get GR, but if I compel you to have what it is that they're going to give you, then suddenly they're just going to end up overturning what they said. That's kind of what was coming in my head. It's like, yeah, you may not have it based on what they're telling you, but the appeal probably will go in your favor, so you'll end up having it in the right time anyway. And because of the fact that it's not going the way you think it's going to go a certain way so that you end up having even more. It's like that kind of thing. Not to say that I know, because I don't, but that's really what he's telling me. Like, it ain't what it seems. You got to trust him. And then as he doesn't move when you want him to move, you got to trust him some more so that you know his timing is the timing you want. I harken back to that, to the animal that I saw die in front of me a couple of days ago. On that same trip on the way home, I saw a squirrel get hit by a car. And squirrel's timing, he wanted to move when it was time he wanted to move. But it wasn't time for him to move, because when he did move, he got hit. You got to go on God's spirit and his timing. That's what really is about. Not what you're compelled to do, but what the Lord is compelling you to do when you turn to him first. Not to say that the animal wasn't time for him to go, because it was. But the point was, when you apply that logic to yourself, you understand what the Lord wants you to do. In love, you got to wait for him. He'll tell you not only what the move is, but the timing of that move in which you're supposed to follow. It won't even be about what you want to do. It'll be about when he wants you to do what he wants you to do. My boy T told me what to do in regards to making sure I communicate with those people at the right, so that I would, not have the headaches that I had in regards to them. Just make sure you communicate, let them know what's going on. He was telling me to do it yesterday, but the Lord compelled me to do it today. Today was the day I was supposed to do it, so that I could talk to the right person, as I already said. So that's what it is, man. That's what it is for those of us who are inclined in such a way to believe in such things and can feel this power of the Holy Spirit as he tells us to move. We got to move when he tells us to move. Not just in the way that we're supposed to move. You can make the right move at the wrong time. Essentially the whole thing. So that's what it is, man. I'm just walking. I don't really know if I want to get on the train today. I honestly don't know. I might just walk down to NoHo and start pricing tomorrow's hotel. That may be what I'm being compelled to do since I'm not too far from NoHo, which is the hotel I went to last time. But it's one of those things where it's like, that's not really that necessary, because to be honest with you, all the information I really need is through the app. It's a discount through the app, and they'll tell you what the prices will be tomorrow on the app. So that's not necessarily what I need to do. But what I wanted to do was just follow the Spirit, man, and get these thoughts out of my head as I continue to have to lean on faith to get me what I need, and deal with the absorption of what the enemy is trying to get me to react to, which is, you don't have GR. Now what you gonna do? That GR that you was waiting on, that they told you was getting, and this and that, now it's not coming. Now react to that. And it's like, nah, I'm gonna listen to the Spirit like I've been doing. And you're not gonna have no dominion over that timing. That's how that works. I ain't reacting to nothing. The only reaction I need is to pray. Holy Spirit, get me where I need to go today, or when you're ready for me to go, and then from there I'll be in the right place at the right time. Not in the wrong time where I'm reacting to stuff stressful, and then I go over there with a certain mindset that ain't necessarily meditative because I didn't take the time to meditate. You know what I mean? This is a real thing. Yeah, I gotta react to it. Yeah, but I'm stressed. So when I react to it, what type of energy am I gonna have with the human beings that are gonna be interacting with me? What if I don't get the right energy from them? I'm gonna snap, right? I'm gonna act a certain way. And he was letting me know in his own way that that is the science that this year doesn't get yet. That's the secret to being you that I gave you that I didn't give everybody else. That's what he was telling me. More or less, while I was making my food, that's what came to me. Like, 2023 thinks it understands everything, but 2023 don't know crap about what 2060 is going to know. And in 2060, they may understand what it is you're saying right now. You don't react directly to any damn thing under stress. You take a couple seconds to find out the timing of the Holy Spirit in your meditation and then move. I've only heard a few people say that. I've heard people say, if I absorb bad news, I'm going to take a whole day before I react to it. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's kind of what I'm saying. But especially when you receive something stressful that the enemy wants you to react to. She cheated on you. Let's go over there right now and kick somebody's door down. No, all that's going to do is hurt your situation, tumble forward so many different problems that you're not ready for. That ain't good for you. What you need to do is go meditate on what the Lord wants you to do. And by the time you're done with that meditation, you're going to have such a better understanding of how to absorb what just happened to you, what your next move should be, how much you should actually even care about what just happened, versus what it is that you could also be focused on. There's just so many different things that meditating and praying can align you with in terms of the time and the circumstances. And if you need to move after meditating, then you're going to move in a way that allows you to win the battle. You ain't going to just move off strength of moving and the strength of emotion. That emotion needs to be absorbed with something that can cloak it in positivity and something that's going to protect you. Moving off of impulse and emotion has gotten many people thrown in jail or sent to their grave with all that other stuff. Ending up creating problems for other people that they don't intend to create, all kinds of different stuff. No. The enemy wanted me to react to a certain thing. Good for him. Now, what does God want me to do? Because at the end of the day, we against him, it's against that. This is spiritual warfare, and I'm on the winning team. So how do I act? Like a winner. I ain't gonna react to what the loser got me doing. No. That's when you end up playing into the loser's hands. That's when things actually go bad for you. And so many people will do it that way, and that's why so many things look as if God's not involved and all this other stuff. That's exactly how it goes. It look as if God ain't moving at all. That's because he got other things lined up. That if you move that way, it's not going to work out this thing. But if you wait and let him absorb your time and then give you what it is that's meant for you to move, not only can he move you in the right direction, but you ain't going to screw up anything anybody else is supposed to be doing. See how that all comes together? Meditation will align you with that clock. Simply put, it will align you with the clock that you're supposed to be on. That prayer, that belief in a higher power, and in its studying, its thinking, as it pertains to how it compels you to think. You ain't got to do nothing. Just sit there. Wait for it. Sit in silence. Wait for it. Maybe your mind is telling you this, that, and the third. Maybe it's the wrong vibe for you when you sit there in silence. Some people can't sit there in silence because they end up thinking negative thoughts, but that's not a person who's in a space where they've done this very much. This is like I say, you brush your teeth one time, you think your teeth are clean? No. That person needs to come back and do this once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. Then they're going to start seeing how that really is supposed to go. And they're going to see. It's not even about me talking about it. They're going to see. That's how it works. And if we had more officials, more business people, more war structurers, however you put that, thinking like that and meditating like that, there'll be a lot less stuff going on that is unnecessary, especially what we're seeing online right now. Some of that stuff would never be happening if these people would practice the way I'm saying. And just don't step out on reacting to stress. Don't step out on reacting to pain. Don't step out on, get your meditation in first. Especially if you're supposed to be leading other people. You know what I mean? Then you understand what it is he wants you to do versus what it is that the enemy is going to ask you to do that's going to align with his timing and ultimately throw chaos into whatever circumstance that's going on. So that's what I have to say, man. I'm still walking. I don't know how far I want to walk. Like I said, I don't think it makes no sense at all for me to go all the way down there. Not really. But I just wanted to get some thoughts in this regard. I don't think I want to get on the train either, to be honest with you. I'm only a block away from the play, but you know, this is what it is. Let me just price it. But you know, I really appreciate everybody rocking with BDF 44. These have been some challenging times, man. And y'all know that I've been inclined by the Spirit for a long time, but didn't always follow him with various different things that I should. I follow him here, but not follow him there. I'd be thinking I'm praying hard, but it wasn't align in this area. So the enemy would still have a bridge to cross over to get to me. What I'm telling you right now is I don't know how many more bridges that enemy got in this life right here in regards to how I've been handling myself. It ain't too many. Not right now. So a lot of what it is that he would ultimately be able to do to make me feel like being down, it just ain't really working. Time is passing and I'm still doing what the Lord wants me to do. Time is passing and I'm still aligned. That's a real thing. You know? That first couple of weeks of doing things the right way, I ain't quite feeling the Spirit. 6-7 weeks down the road, you still doing things the right way. And you start really seeing it pay off in your own temperament. You see it play off in your own way of handling stress. You see it pay off in regards to how confident you feel things are going to work out. In the first couple of weeks, you still stressing like you used to. You're still stressing like you always been trained to. But you keep training yourself. You keep coming back to that meditation and that prayer. You keep coming back to that. And you'll see, regardless of what's going on, you get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger in that space. More comfortable in that space. And then you start absorbing some of them same things that come your way differently. Some of them same struggles that keep on hitting you and they wear you down. You start seeing how the application of faith starts to make it so that them things don't hurt as bad, so that you can focus a little more on them circumstances, so that you can absorb them, you know, a little better. And that's what's happening. I've been getting thrown a lot at me. If you watch these therapy sessions over the last 6 weeks, you'll see exactly how much unnecessary stress I've been under. And you'll also see how I'm handling it a little better this time. So that's what it is, man. I don't know what he got next for me. But everything in my spirit and my mind tell me it's going to be just as easy as any other thing that he told me things were going to go right, and it was easy. Just as easy. And I'm walking down to the Snow Hole Hotel. I think that's as far as I'll go. It's right in front of me. Right there. I don't know if you can see it, but at this point, that's walking distance for me. I don't think nothing of this walk anymore. And you know what I mean? Just enjoying the peace of what it is that I've invested in meditation. Peace. Circumstances ain't got to provide me peace. They don't have to. That peace comes from not doing nothing at all, not reacting to nothing at all, where things are going right or wrong. That's inner peace, inner love for self, inner discipline to know that I've already asked for help. I don't have to cry out no more. I've already seen him work. I ain't got to ask him to prove it no more. You know what I'm saying? That's really the essence of what it is I'm saying to you. So I'm about to go in here, check it out, probably turn on the video when I get back out of there, and then walk back the other way. BDF 44, thank you all for watching.